Hey everyone, it's me Stagger, and so you want to be a taster for PC games, huh? Or just be a taster in general, and you're wondering what the heck is Hourglass, or you're just curious what the hell is Hourglass in the first place. Well, that's what I'm about to teach you. But first things first, you gotta know what the freaking hell is a task. A task stands for Tool Assist Speedrun or Tool Assist Superplay, and I'm getting feedback from my microphone. Pretty much, pretty much all that this is just using tools such as slowdown, save states, frame advance, load state, auto fire, etc., 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 to achieve the fastest time possible in a game, or just to show off. 99.999% of the time, it's both. However, if you're really just, doing this just to show off and just to, have fun, there's also this thing called a TAP, which is Tool Assist Play Around. It's self-explanatory. You just use tools to play around and stuff. And so that's the basic of it. And yeah, if you want more information, go to taskvideos.org, and it gives you so much information, plus you get to see so many videos and all that stuff. The community is friendly, but keep in mind that it's very competitive, so yeah. Oh, and also another thing, cool thing about tasks is that you can actually download every single video that they made. So if you were to go like this, for example, the Yoshi's Island, the Yoshi's Island task. So you want to download it because you really want to look at it and dissect it. You can you just click on that first link, and then boom, it's downloaded right there. So pretty much. Now for the main reason why you came here. Hourglass. As you can see, it's for Windows 32. Yeah, this is a big problem because I have a Windows 7 64-bit computer. And, yeah, pretty much. So, it even says so in the system requirements that, Hourglass works best on Windows XP, which I'll be using when I do the demonstration. But because I kind of need, to show off like the interface, I'm going to be doing that. Anyway, it works somewhat on Vista and Windows 7, but currently not support well with especially 64 versions. So you should use Windows XP for if at all possible, which is 100% true. The main issue, I'm not sure if the same thing goes with 64-bit, 32-bit, but pretty much every time you save state or load state, it'll tend to act all crazy on you, and then to the point where it'll just give up on you. So pretty much all you can do is just slow down the game and play it, like I did with Llama Lana at one point. And speaking of Llama Lana, that game does not work well with Vista, with Windows 7, or especially Windows 8. Anyway, I have it somewhere. You can just look it up. But pretty much. That's way before there. There it is. This one right here. Anyway, so continuing on. Yeah. Now, let's go to support a game, which is actually pretty important. It's still early in development, even though it's pretty badass. In fact, it hasn't even reached 1.0 yet. It's still at 0.88, I think it is. And yeah, 0.81. So pretty much. So right now, all I can work with is Bunny Must Die, Cave Story, the free version that is, Eversian, Hero Core, LJI, I Want to Be the Guy, La Milana, Legend of Princess, Lyle Cube Sector, Mega Mary, Ninja Senki, Perfect Cherry Blossom, Rescue the Beagles, Streets of Rage Remake, and Tanuki Fighters. Now, one thing it doesn't explain is that every single, as long as it has the same engine as a certain game on here, it will also work. Like, for example, Cave Story. It has its own personal engine made by Pixel. There's another game that uses the same engine made by the same creator, Ikachan. Ikachan works as well with Cave Story. I haven't tested any other games, but I'm pretty sure they work. I'm pretty sure other Pixel games work with it as well. And I Want to Be the Guy. Any game made by Multimedia Fusion 2 or Games Factory 2 will work with Hourglass. Now, I'm not sure which one it is, but either Streets of Rage Remake or Tanuki Fighters. They use this engine called 2K Fighting or something like that. And as long as it has the same engine like that, like for example, Fighting is Magic, which sadly got canceled due to legal issues. Yeah, that works as well. So, yeah. Features here, I'm actually going to be explaining here soon, so yeah. Let's go ahead and minimize that. Now, as you can see, I have 4 tasking emulators. Mupin 64 sucks. I seriously don't know how many people... I seriously don't know how people use it, but for some reason it just doesn't want to cooperate, especially due to the fact that it has this thing known as desync. Desync is a taster's worst nightmare. Period. Watch this video if you want to know what the hell desync does to you. I wasted 3 hours of my life. So, yeah. Anyway, DSMME is a really good one. VBA re-record is also really good. However, it tends to do horribly with Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Hourglass is the one we're looking for. So this is your interface. Let me get out of full screen now. Alright, this is your interface. So, we have File, Graphics, Sound, Runtime, Inputs, Tools, and AVI. We're going to worry about this later. Okay, here is the movie file. Pretty much is the current movie that is in there right now. We can browse and look at the other movies that we made here. Like we have DF, DF, DAF, FF, Dakutsu, Dakutsu BC, Dakutsu C, FR, FFF, Fighting for Her Love, Fighting Against Magic 9876, Ikichan 2, blah blah blah. The names are not important, but pretty much I do recommend that you get organized, because this is very unorganized and I don't know half of these things. So pretty much you just choose like pretty much the what the fuck file is the movie file. So anyway, and down here we have the game executable, where we pretty much select the game that we choose. Like right now what's in there is Cave Story, but I'm going to switch that. Let's switch that to Ikachan. And then you'll also notice that the movie file updates to ikachan.wtf. So, but right now that's not really the one that is the good one. The good one here is Ikachan TAS. And yeah. Okay, here we have the frames, which is pretty. Wait a second, something's not right. This is only 16 seconds. It's really not right here. Ecotron 3? No, that's not it either. Which one's the good one? Oh, here it is. Anyway, here we have the frames. This is the current frame that it's on right now, and this is the total frames of the entire movie. Pretty much. And here we have the frames per second. Ecotron is 60 frames per second. The easiest way I can explain this is that every 1 second it'll take 60 pictures. So, and that's basically what a frame is. It's just a picture. So pretty much it's like picture until like gets 60, and that counts as 1 second. So then it goes to the next second, and then it does 60 more and all that stuff. And then we have the re-records. This is actually very, very small. In fact, re-record count doesn't really matter. Like, doesn't really change anything. It's just interesting to know, like, how many times you messed up. Like, during this entire Ecotron task, I messed up 969 times. Which, in this, it just means, which in a 14-minute period, that is actually incredibly small. And, in fact, it's so small, this is not an optimized task. There is tons of room for improvement. There is incredibly tons of room for improvement. In fact, I wasn't even trying. I was just trying to figure out the route that it takes to get the fastest time possible. But apparently, in this case, I didn't do well. So, yeah, that's the history of that. System time, we don't need to worry about that. I have no idea what this is. In fact, this is the first time I even noticed about this. Oh, okay, so it's pretty much ticks per second. For those who don't know what a tick is, I'm with you. I have no idea what it is. But pretty much the game will tick every 6,000 times per second. And, I guess, and if I do have to guess, I guess it's how fast, like, it can read like button mashing or something like that, like auto fire or whatever. I'm not for certain, but don't quote me on this, but it's something. I don't know what this is. And here we have the multi-threading and weight sync. Normally you would just leave this alone. Leave it on wrap. However, if you get an error message, you may want to disable or allow. Depending on what the error message says. But for the most part, you will need to disable if you do get an error message. But other than that, leave it at wrap. This is very important here. Leave it at wrap. Command line argument. Pretty much what this is, if you know basic Lua, yeah, I forgot to explain about Lua. Lua is a type of scripting language that allows you to alter variables. Allows you to alter variables and just look at the variables. For Tasser, we just need to look. For Tassers, we just need to look at the variables, so that way we can control luck manipulation. What luck manipulation is that, well, a random event that you can control. So, for example, in Cave Story, you have a random chance of getting a heart from destroying an enemy. You have a random chance of getting EXP, a heart, or missiles. With luck manipulation, you can control that. If you need health right then and there, you can get health. If you need missiles right then and there, you get missiles. If you need EXP right then and there, you bet you're gonna get EXP. So, how does luck manipulation work? Well, That can be summed up by 2 words. You wait. That's all it is. It's just waiting. You wait for that right perfect moment, and then boom. Luck. Boom, you manipulated that luck. That's pretty much all it is. If a great example would be the Fire Emblem tasks. Look that up. That's... Oh man, I can just imagine the re-record, though I didn't really look at it. Oh, another great example would be actually the most re-records ever in a task, and that would be the Dragon Warrior Monsters tasks. Oh, that's weird. I thought there was a lot more. But it's still a good example because there is insane amount of luck manipulation there. Concerning that, the world is randomly generated and he manipulated so that way he can be near the hole and as well as get the items that he needs and critical hits. That's what I really like about RPG tasks is because they do so much math. Also, that way they can permanently get a critical hit, they can permanently go first, etc., etc. It's insane. So anyway, now continuing on here. Man, I'm getting so distracted. Anyway, so we have stuff you don't really need to worry about. This is the time. This is the end time. This is the time it's currently on. And then we have the current frames per second, which is always at 60. Always. Or whatever the frames per second is here. And then we have current status, which is pretty much if I'm running it, it will change to active. So if I were to play existing movie, as you can see, it says playing right there. Now, one thing you gotta know is that once you start like something made by Pixel, the background turns gray. I don't know why this is. It just happens. It's perfectly normal and it doesn't affect your computer in any way. So, yeah. Apparently the current frames per second is actually lower, but still. And you probably can't hear me due to the fact that this thing is loud. So, if you didn't hear me, pretty much I said current status is playing, because I am playing it. FPS is changed depending on how your computer is. Right now it's running at 50 frames per second for some reason. But if I were to move it around, in fact, if I were to unmute it, it will... Oh wait, look right there, now it changed down. But it seems to be going down to like 50 frames per second, which is kind of strange considering that it's 60 frames per second over here. But I'm pretty sure that's just probably some early release glitching. I guess it's still a work in progress emulator. Anyway, so enough of that. Oh, wait, I almost forgot some stuff. So, as you can see, there's a lot of garbage text. This is because of this is because this game is originally Japanese, and I don't use the fan translation. In fact, fan translations are actually very frowned upon due to the fact that they can either fix or make more glitches, and so they prefer any tasks should be done with an official with an official release. So it either has to stay Japanese or English, Korean, Chinese, whatever. It has to stay by its native language. Unless, there was an official English release, then that'd be okay. But other than that, no. Stay with its language. Anyway, so that's the basics. The interface. Oh wait, I almost forgot. There's also mute, topmost, which no matter what you put on, it'll be on top of it. All the stuff will go behind. And I forgot to mute when I was explaining all that stuff, so I hope you heard me, because I'm not going to explain it again. Anyway, we also got fast forward, which is self-exclamatory. You get to fast forward through the game. There's also pause, which pauses the entire game. And yeah, there's also this read only and this read plus write. Read write will only happen if you're actually making a task. Read only will happen if you're making if you're just watching a task. So that's the basics of this area. And now we get to the fun part, which is file, graphics, sound, runtime input, and AVI, which I also had to explain quite a bit about. So now here's the file. You can watch it from the beginning, which pretty much just reloads the game. So as you can see, it's restarted. It restarted. Anyway, so, and then we also got resume recording from a different file. This allows us to record, this allows us to pretty much record from where we're at, but in a different file. And then we can also take over right now by using this resume recording from now. And then splice, I have no idea what that does. Save config as, I don't know. Load config as, I have no idea. Stop running pretty much just stops it. And then exit closes the entire program itself. Graphics. Allow full screen mode display. Allow full screen display mode change. I tend to leave this off because there tends to be a little bit of issues. Like normally when there tends to be a little bit of issuing when it comes to gosh dang it, what's the word I'm looking? Man, I am lost for words. Okay. It tends to have issues with like frames in a way. Not really frames, but like frame skipping. Frame skipping is pretty much just lag. And also like Bandicam tends to have issues with that with full screen, so I just leave it not that. But I will give it this. If you're to somehow miraculously work the AVI, which is impossible to work with, you can actually get it beyond 1080 HD to actually 2000, which is actually 2160 HD. So it's pretty insane, but again, it's not worth it. Allow hardware acceleration. You want this checked. I don't know why, but you just do. Surface memory, you want to let the game choose. You don't want any of this. Anyway, so now sound. Use software mixing. I don't know what that does, but it sounds good. Format, you want to leave this as default. You want to leave that as default. You want to leave that as default. Unless you really don't like stereo and you choose to go mono. However, if you actually are going to submit a task from task videos, then you want to leave it at stereo. Okay, runtime. Now this is actually the important one you want to use. App time, app local. You want to force Japanese local if you're using a Japanese game. So, like for example, right now use system locate, which automatically puts it to this one font known as I gotta figure out what font it is. Lucidia Console. So so if you want it to be Japanese, you just force the Japanese stuff, and looky here, it's in Japanese. Holy crap! How did I do that? Well, I just did runtime, app local, force Japanese local. Anyway, Now, multi-threading mode, again, it's pretty much just this. You don't want to mess with it. Multi-time reader, you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with this. You don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with this. Disable pause helper, you really don't want to mess with this, concerning that, you're gonna need that pause. Anyway, so, you don't need to worry about this, you don't need to worry about that, you don't need to worry about that, unless you're trying to make a very optimal task, or either that, or this is actually for the Hourglass itself. But if not, then yeah, you really don't need to worry about this, concerning that it's just I don't know, it's confusing. I don't know anything about sketching or anything. Okay, so now for the input, we have configure hotkeys, enable, and this is also something you're going to be worried about here. Configure hotkeys. This is every single hotkey that adds on to the game. So we have toggle read only, movie executable, open movie, blah blah blah. But the important thing is right here. Pause and unpause, pause and unpause, pause and unpause, toggle fast forward, frame advance, key 2, decrease speed, increase speed, normal speed, enable sound, load state times 20, save state times 20, and this is if you're doing an extreme optimal task here. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of that. And also the enable hotkeys, I guess you don't need to worry about that. Configure game input, which pretty much allows you to change any kind of key from every single kind of keyboard. So an example, if you want up arrow to be down arrow, you can do that. If you want down arrow to be up arrow, you can do that. If you want tab to be select, or tab to be enter, enter to be space, space to be Z, which I actually did right here. This is because La Milana has this annoying thing where its first key, to use the first weapon, you have to use space, and then to use its second weapon, you have to use M. So I changed space to Z and M to X. So, pretty much. And yeah, this is just in case something annoying happens, something annoying like that, and then you can easily change it. So yeah, now let's go back to inputs. We also have game input when Hourglass is focus. You just leave this checked. Anyway, and a frame event skips lag frames. What lag frames are is pretty much whenever a game is loading, or whenever a game like is doing a screen transition, or just some, but pretty much it just means that load, I want to load, I like loading games, blah 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 blah. And then frame advance just pretty much just skips that entirely. So pretty much. In fact, I never even explained what frame advance is, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, tools. We have the pause and break, which is pretty much just that one checkbox from earlier. We got slow motion, which we do want it to be at 12 because that's important. Fast forwarding, which pretty much is just this. Fast forward options. Yeah, you can't really see anything. Actually, I could just move this over. Fast forward options, which is front buffer frame skip, which pretty much what it does is like if you have a horrible computer, it'll allow frame skipping. What frame skipping is frames that skip due to lag, pretty much. Back buffer frame skip, which is the same thing, pretty much. A sound skip, which pretty much if you're lagging, it'll do some sound skipping. But if you leave that unchecked, and it can be kind of bad, but for the most part, it's alright. Frame search watch skip, that's important. Sleep skip, which I don't know what that does, and wait skip, which I don't know what that does either. And we have RAM watch and RAM search, which shouldn't be important. In fact, RAM search is not even done, so don't worry about it. AVI you'll never use. Pretty much AVI capture video, capture audio video, capture video only, capture audio only, and AVI capture disable, which I recommend right there. Alright. Whew. That was a lot, and it's been like 30 minutes already. Man, 30 minutes just to explain an interface. That's pretty intense. But now for the things you're all probably looking forward to, which is how to do one of these tasks. Now, again, I'm running Windows 7 64-bit, so I had to use an XP computer, which I happen to do have. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and cut the camera. Behold, the computer that I call Life Support XP. This laptop cannot run on its own battery. It has to be plugged in. So, now let's open this. And this computer is super old. It's like made from like 2002 or something, I don't know. But pretty much, it's really old. I mean, it's super, oh my gosh, it's just horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. I mean, just, let's look at its stats here. If we can, that is. I'm pretty sure it's nothing, but I'm pretty sure we... No, I don't think you can do it in here. No, you cannot. But just trust me, it's absolutely horrific. But it does what it does. Pretty much it allows me to play La Milana, and it allows me to make some tasks. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and open up Hourglass. Open up Hourglass. And let's create a new task with Ikachan. I gotta navigate through this here. Ikachan sample. Okay, now let's run and record a new movie. Wait a second. Shows the... I'm pretty sure it's nothing. And plus I have it on record anyway. So, first things first, before we start, let's go ahead and pause. Now let's run and record a new movie. And there we go. There's that big screen of death here. And let me turn off my light now. Alright. So, first things first. When you start a new game, create lots of saves. 10 should do it right there. Now, now we need to mention about frame advance. Frame advance pretty much loads the next frame. Next frame. Here, let's go ahead and get Hourglass out there. You can see it's only one frame right now. It's only the first frame because that's where it starts. Let's put it up here where we can see those amount of frames. Then adjust the camera so that way you can see that. And now let's click on here. And autofocus is being a jerk. Anyway, so we pretty much just went to the next frame. Next frame. Now the way that you do frame advance whenever making a task is that you hold that button. You hold the button that allows you to go to the next screen. Then you press space, and then that should count as you pressing that button in one frame. So as you can see, there's already the frame swipe. But because we kind of made a mistake here, or I made a mistake, which I pretty much just loaded a few frames before pressing that space, before going to the next frame. Okay, it's still showing that. What the heck? Oh well, it's still showing that re-record count. What the heck? Oh well. Anyway, so we just load state back from where we started, and as you can see, it's now acting as if absolutely nothing happened. The only thing that changed is this re-record count. So now we hold Z and then press that space, which should automatically go ahead and do this frame swipe. Now we save state, considering that we don't know what's about to happen right now. So we're gonna go ahead and continue that. Save state, continue. This is pretty much frame advance. Now we know that it's gonna say something. So since this is an XP computer, it cannot really comprehend. But we already pressed yes. So now we hold Z to fast forward through all this text here. Pretty much you can also go ahead and go back to regular speed, because we don't really need to know this, and I messed up, so we go ahead and oh crap, dang it. So pause, and now we go back to frame advance here. Hey, I said pause. Now we go back to frame advance. Now we're holding Z, let go, and then press it again. And oh, didn't work out. Oops, I forgot to hold Z. Okay. Save state. Oops. Okay. Nope, that didn't work either. Okay. Space, then Z, then space. Pretty much you have to kind of guess what happens in the next frame, and that should work out for you. And now we're gonna... Why is this mute anyway? This shouldn't be mute. Yeah, there should be sound. I don't get why it's not playing any sound, but pretty much. And then let's go ahead and save state, because we don't want to do that again. And now we can pretty much unpause while holding Z. And I said unpause while holding Z. Okay. Control P, Z. Come on. Okay, for some reason it's just not working. And pause while holding Z. What the heck? Okay. No panic. We can just do this. And now load state, and then yeah. We can also fast forward through this. But frame advance, save state. And now unpause. Or we can just go back to frame advance, considering that, you know, there's a bunch of text skipping we have to do here now, which I really messed up on. And save state, okay. Then let go, and then press A. And then that should... No, never mind. Pretty much you're just editing all the errors that you've made, so it looks like a perfect run. If anything, you can just create your own auto fire, which is pretty much just press space, Z then space, space, Z then space, space, Z, space, space, Z, space, space, etc. And I messed up that one line, but I'm not gonna worry about it because this is a demonstration. And now we get to the fun part. Pretty much because this is a platformer, it's very hard to do this frame by frame. It's very hard to play this frame by frame. So what I suggest is that you make a bunch of saves right now, and then you press Control minus until you get to 12% speed. And then now we're going to go ahead and play this without any frame advancing whatsoever. As you can see, it kind of made us do a jump start, but that's fine. And we are moving incredibly slow. You really want to move fast in this because, you know, this is incredibly boring, isn't it? Save state because there are a lot of obstacles in the way. Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. I didn't make it. So then you load state, and then you keep trying. It's okay to take hits. In fact, sometimes it just saves a lot of time if you do that. So, and that's not gonna pass. If you really are worried about losing energy, then you can go ahead and just load state and just fix that problem. And while you wait, you might as well just do like random stuff that you can just, you know, normally that you just do if you do it normally, or you could just load, or you can just speed that up if you want to, etc., etc. There are so many possibilities that you can do right now. It's not even funny. I mean, no, it's actually hilarious now I think about it. I mean, you have so many possibilities because, you know, you can make as many mistakes as you want, and you can also take as much time as you need. There is no need to rush in a task. Well, there's no need to rush whatsoever in a task. So you can take, in fact, you can take days in making this. You can make it as perfect as you want, or just insane as you want. You can just do whatever, really. You have the power within the game to do whatever you can within the game. I would say anything you want, but it has to be within the game, sadly. That is your only limitation. Your only limitation is the game itself and tasking. Like right now, I'm just not optimizing it because this is incredibly boring to do right now. But, you know, now the thing about tasks is that, true, it's boring, it's slow, it's tedious, but in a way you can kind of view it like video editing. You're just editing a video right now, and it's long, it's boring, it's tedious, but once you see your creation come to life, it's incredible. And plus, with tasking, you get that adrenaline rush too. Because, you know, you're going faster than what a human can even do. So, think of it that way. You're moving slow right now, but it's also that way you can go faster than any human can freaking do. Oh my gosh, and it just feels amazing. And, yeah. But one thing you gotta know about tasks is that save state, save state, save state. And I am getting a lot of lag right now. I don't know what's causing this, but that's not going to be showing in the video. It's just lagging right now. I don't know why, but when I replay the video, it's not going to be there at all. And I messed up again. So, yeah, we just continue on, save state, because we gotta do it right here. There we go, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now we gotta avoid that end clamshell. Okay, come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Avoid the end. Yes, I did it. Alright. Alright, now I'm gonna stop it as soon as I get that cap. And, then we get to watch it. Watch the creation come to life. And that's when the fun begins. Ooh, almost there. Come on, come on, come on. Safe state. Come on, 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 come on. Actually, no, it would be faster if I were to go all the way around. So let's do that. Ah, man, I made that slow. Come on, come on. Speed that through. Yes. Now turn. Slow it down. Boost. Come on, boost, 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 boost. And there we go. And I messed up that text, sadly. Dang it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Another way you can kind of see tasking is that, you know, do a task to what you prefer. I mean, it can be boring, but only if you make it boring. Like for example, I could be using frame advance right now, which would be optimal, but I'm not due to the fact that using frame advance would really make this game incredibly boring. Now I'm going to be saving state here, and then I'm going to be stopping it. So this is pretty much just the sample. Now the thing is though, once you do that, it's going to be stuck at 12%, so you want to change it back to 100. And now we're going to play and watch the movie. And there's the sound. Jeez, now it's working. Okay, so now let's go and play our movie that we just made. All mistakes are erased. Now, one thing when you watch these tasks is that it seems like you're moving faster than what the game is supposed to be. Yes and no. It's just a mind trickery thing due to the fact that you've been playing the game super slow, but rest assured this is the actual speed of the game. And as you can see, I'm doing some lags. Mainly, this is because of the computer, not because of the game. It's kind of weird, but it's whatever, I guess. Like I said before, all errors have been erased and it stopped. So yeah, that's how you make a task in Hourglass. So yeah, have fun.